instead of having a stereotypical beauty school, in getting to know the students and really teaching them what entrepreneurship means, that has just made Studio Beauty School completely different.
Welcome back to the Missoula podcast. In studio with my man Brandon. Good to see you,
Russell. Good to be here.
Nicole Marburger, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I'm excited.
Good.
Thanks for coming in, Nicole. This is gonna be fun.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
So Nicole, we're gonna get into your story and what you're doing now a little bit in a few minutes. But
Sure.
Tell us where you're from and what was life like growing up.
Okay. Yeah. I'm from Chalice, Idaho. Do you guys know where Chalice is at?
I do know where Chalice is. Yeah.
Awesome.
There's not much there.
No.
What's the population roughly?
I think it's like 600 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might be more now because the mine has opened back up. We mine molybdenum. And
Whoa, say that word again.
Molybdenum. Yeah. that's what we mine there.
What is? I've never.
I think it's used maybe for batteries, something like that. Yeah. So
I would just say we mine batteries.
Yeah. But so I grew up on a 400-acre ranch in Idaho, which is fun because my dad's he's actually a nuclear engineer. And so our ranch was just what we call a hobby ranch. So yeah. And then my mom, she was a manager of a telephone company. So the ranch was left to my oldest sister. Her name is Stephanie, and my twin brother and I. So we were the ones running it. Pretty fun. Yeah. With my dad, of course, and my mom, but they were working a lot. So yeah, learned a lot about how to work through a ranch.
You said 400 acres?
Yeah.
That was just a hobby ranch.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't, it wasn't like we would sell hay, you know what I mean, to like friends and family. But my grandfather developed land, I think in like 1960. And so we took it over when we were 6 years old. We moved from Firth, Idaho, where my dad's nuclear power plant is. Have you guys ever heard of Arco, Idaho? Yeah, that's where a nuclear facility is out there. And so we lived in Firth until I was 6. And then we moved to the ranch to take it over and, start learning how to work.
Was your dad still working as a nuclear engineer? And
yeah, he actually is still working as a nuclear engineer right now.
Wow.
Yeah, which is, my dad is my biggest role model in life. He's incredible. He's one of the hardest workers I've ever met. He actually drives almost 2 hours, 4 days a week. And so he works swings. So he works 4 days during the day, and then he works 4 days at night. So he does swing shift, and he's done that for about 34 years now. So yeah, but he always comes home and like works with me or like my brother growing up before I graduated and moved away. But he would get like maybe 4 hours of sleep when he was working for 4 days, and then he'd have 4 days off. So yeah, my dad's incredible. He's an awesome human being. Yeah.
So it sounds like both your parents were working. Your mom, manager of a telephone company. Your dad, nuclear engineer.
Yep.
Very driven people.
Yeah.
So how did that, how was that modeled to you of what life looked like as a youngster?
I mean, they are just incredible parents. They're incredible parents, and they always pushed and supported us to follow our dreams, but to also know how to work hard. Because if you know how to work hard and you know how to do things on your own, you don't necessarily need other people. You can figure it out on your own. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
As a 6-year-old girl moving to a ranch, what was the dream? Like when you grew up, what did you want to be? What did you want to become?
Good question. I wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
What I did. Yeah. So mainly my grandfather, he, was an entrepreneur. He owned a grocery store in Blackfoot, Idaho. And then he moved to Chalice and developed, this 400-acre property. And so pretty fun to just follow in my grandfather's footsteps, which his name was Calvin, and he was my dad's father. And so he always told me, to watch your top notch and don't take any wooden nickels, but he always wanted me to work for myself. You can do anything, be an entrepreneur, basically. So my dad, being a nuclear engineer, he was, wanting me to go into engineering, of course. But he also supported me in anything I wanted, and I just said I wanted to work for myself. And he said, okay. So yeah, they've been supportive the entire way.
Now, I've heard that individuals that have this spirit of entrepreneurial kind of like the way that they want to go, that school is not always easy for them. So was that your experience for you? Because it kind of seems like a waste of time in a lot of ways when you know I'm going to go work for myself someday. Was that your experience?
Yeah, I wasn't super, I was fine with school. I thought for a second there I might become an engineer because I love, my dad and I.
You went to high school right in Chalice? Chalice High School?
Chalice High School. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he would help me with chemistry, and for a while there I was like, maybe I'll go into the medical field and stuff like that. But I just love people, and I have a certain way that I do things, and I just thought, it would be easier to train people than actually working for someone. You know what I mean? So in reality, owning and building my own school is kind of everything's coming to fruition about who I am and what they've trained in me. So
how big was your graduating class at
60.
Chalice?
60.
It's actually bigger than I'd have guessed.
Yeah, not bad.
No.
Yeah, we had a pretty big class, and it's fun because a lot of us still talk, and a lot of us are big hard workers. We were raised similarly, on property and to manage ranches and stuff like that. So,
which that seems to be a regular occurrence. That the kids who grow up on ranches or rural U.S.
you just
have
kind of
a
learn
high work ethic.
Yeah, you learn that no one's gonna get it done but you.
Yeah.
So, however, I was thankful my dad was normally with me. That's a lot of how we bonded. He would help me with a huge main line that was, broke or whatever. And so, yeah, we had a good relationship growing up. And but if a job is not done, you don't stop until it's done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
which seems pretty entrepreneurial.
Yep. Yeah.
So graduating high school, you graduated Chalice, class of 60. Where did life take you?
Yeah.
From there? So
I actually moved to Spokane, Washington. I received a running scholarship, which was really awesome. And ultimately, I kind of followed in my sister's footsteps a little bit. My sister is an incredible runner. She ran in Boise, Idaho, and she broke records and big cross-country runner. So that's what I decided to do. And I went to Spokane Falls Community College. And I just was going for nursing just because I was like, I guess this is what I'll try. But I ended up seeing a cadaver for the first time and passed out in front of 150 people. And it was really embarrassing. But
I'd be right there with you.
Yeah. And I think that's what really triggered me to, okay, this is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
I need to figure out how can I work for myself? How can I, learn how to manage teams and stuff like that. So, because I knew I loved people, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll try nursing because you get to take care of people and be around them and learn their stories and help them through really difficult and challenging times of their life. But it was just a little too real. A little too oh my gosh, I'm in charge of this person dying, living or dying. Nope, I'm out. So, but it's really fun because my sister, she ended up being a nurse, a registered nurse, and she runs an ER in Salmon, Idaho.
So cool.
Yeah, pretty incredible. But yeah.
When you realized that nursing wasn't the route that you were going to go, and you're like, I need to learn some skills fast.
Yeah. I knew I needed to learn a trade.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, how do I learn how to manage people? How do I learn how to build a team? So that led me to Wake Up Call. Have you guys heard of Wake Up Call in Spokane?
No.
I'm not.
Wake Up Call is a privately owned coffee corporation. And I love them. I'm hoping to reach out to them and to have them listen. But yeah, they grew from like a tiny little coffee shop to now they're franchising all over the US. But yeah, I was with them and I managed for them, and I ended up managing one of the busiest locations on Division, which is called Nora. And so I had at the time, I think 30 employees. So managing a team full of women is really difficult. Okay. So that, helped me to understand, okay, this is definitely like, and I worked from the ground up. Like I started as like a little, janitor basically. And then I worked all the way up to, managing a new location right on Division, which have you guys been to Spokane?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Division is,
Division.
yes. Yeah. Large street there. But so thousands and thousands of people a day. And yeah, it was fun to learn, like, how do you create a really good atmosphere, a positive atmosphere in high stressful situations? You know what I mean? Because people are nuts about their coffee. I don't know how you guys feel about coffee. I love it. I have to have it constantly. But, we'd get huge orders from like Sacred Heart Hospital. And so those were $1,000 orders, and they had to be done in a certain time because the doctors get off at this time or they're in between surgeries and stuff like that. So, yeah, just learning how to also deal with a high turnover rate too. And just retraining different employees was also difficult and stressful. So, yeah, but it was still very fun. And I love that coffee corporation. They kind of gave me my start as to learning the trade of building a team. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Was that enjoyable?
Oh, yeah, I loved it. Oh, yeah, I did it for 6 years. Yeah, I did it for 6 years until life took me in a completely different direction, which is kind of fun.
We'll unpack that for us a little bit, because I was wondering, why wouldn't you just easily branch off and start your own coffee shops and start going from there? But
and I thought about it. But ultimately, it was really fun, but it's not necessarily fulfilling. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So my husband, his name is James Marbuger. I'll talk about Studio Beauty School a little bit now, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I met my husband, let's see, when I was 19, and
in Spokane? Is that where you guys?
Spokane. Okay. Yep. He's born and raised in Spokane. We met at Life Center, which is a big church there, and they were having like a concert. So anyways, I met him there. And from that point forward, we've been pretty inseparable because he's just a phenomenal human being. I really wish that he could be in with me because we're best friends. And he's just he is like the entrepreneur. You know what I mean? He's just that he has like 6 different businesses. He's just awesome. So when I was kind of in transition, like realizing Wake Up Call had a glass ceiling for like people, like getting to know people. You know what I mean? Coffee isn't going to do it. Like, it's just, there's a glass ceiling there. He was like, okay, well, how do you feel about learning how to teach? And I said, okay, what do you mean? And he was like, well, my mother and father own a beauty school. And I was like, okay. Never been interested in beauty that much before, and before I worked with Wake Up Call, I actually was a wildland firefighter. And so I did that for a while. So I was very much like not into all that. You know what I mean?
You grew up on a ranch.
Yeah. Like I was a wildland firefighter and I managed a ranch. So I was like,
you were used to being dirty.
Yes.
And sweaty.
So, right. And so he was like, how do you feel about teaching at a beauty school? And I was like, okay, I'll tour it. He was like, okay. So I went in and toured it, and I met a lot of the instructors, but mainly I have a lot of love for his family, his mom and dad. Their names are Vicky and Wes. And so my husband, Jameis, Vicky and Wes started Studio Beauty School in 2007. And they started it in this old Victorian house, you guys. So my husband can do anything, plumbing, electrical, any type of construction. So him and his dad basically ripped that house out and started a school in there, which is totally not like, it's different. It's totally different. So at the time, they had moved from that school, which they showed me before I toured the new one. They had like a 50 student school off of Monroe. Have you guys seen like the Monroe side of Spokane? Mm-hmm. It's a little bit older, a little bit more thrifty. You know what I mean? I toured it and I just kind of shadowed his mom for a day. And I just saw what she did. She built a team. She's inspiring students. She's teaching them a trade where they can be entrepreneurs and work for themselves and have a family and have, as much as they could possibly want in life. The beauty industry can give that to them as women, you know what I mean? And men too. But I just was like, okay, this is something. I could see me doing this. Like maybe I could create my own team and be able to inspire people, but not only inspire them, help them to become really successful on top of doing other things, like being a mom. Being a mom's crazy. It's wild. You don't understand. It's like a full-time job over full-time being a mom. So, anyways, so I started with them, I think in 2015, I quit Wake Up Call, and it was super sad because I'd only been managing Nora for like less than 2 years. And so like, what do you mean? You can't leave. What do you mean? Because I had planned on being with them for a long time. And so I was like, well, I'm going to go in this other direction and be with my family. I'm going to try working with my family because that's what I grew up doing. So I was going to take a turn and work with Jay's family, which is a little scary. It's a little terrifying because his mom she's built her school from the ground up and it's huge now. And now we have a second one. So anyways, I started working for her as a janitor. And I just wanted to work from the ground up and completely like visualize and just be behind the scenes of every possible scenario that I could be. Because ultimately, it's not just about beauty. What is so cool about where I'm at today is you are putting yourself in a position to where that person is in transition. They're in a change. They're in a season of change. And you can either help to skyrocket their change or, let it dwindle out. And ultimately, they're not going to be able to reach their dream. You know what I mean? So instead of having a stereotypical beauty school, Vicky created something that's completely different. And in getting to know the students and really teaching them what entrepreneurship means, that has just made Studio Beauty School completely different than most beauty schools, in my opinion. So yeah.
Nicole, let's come back to Studio Beauty School here in a second, but let's jump into the rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. What was your first initial memory of Missoula, Montana?
So in 2012, I came through here to tour Spokane and I loved it. I was like, I came with my parents and they weren't super thrilled about me moving 8 hours away, of course, but I came through Missoula and I was like, let's just check out, let's just check it out. And I remember seeing my very first farmer's market. I'd never been to a farmer's market before because I'm from a town of 600 people. Like we're very,
Your ranch is a farmer's market.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah. But I really loved seeing the community of Missoula. I didn't understand until probably about 5 years ago that it's built of a lot of small business owners, which is incredible. They've built their own community. They've worked endless hours. You know what I mean? So just seeing a farmer's market and seeing all of the different small businesses, I fell in love back then. So moved to Spokane and finally convinced my husband to move here and build a school. But so that was my initial. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite coffee shop here in Missoula?
Yes. I love Clyde Coffee. Clyde Coffee is gorgeous. I really like the modern look that they have. Very good atmosphere and always super busy, which is really fun. You like can't sit down, which is fine. That's okay because normally I end up talking to like 20 people. Yeah. So it just has the Missoula atmosphere. It's just full of people. Yeah.
What's your favorite restaurant in Missoula?
My favorite restaurant is called the Montana Brunch Company, and they just opened, I think, last year. They're actually in Frenchtown. And shout out to the owners, Stephanie and Kevin. They're amazing. If you guys haven't checked them out, it's called the Montana Brunch Co. And they have like the best burritos. And if you guys like breakfast, of course, they have the best breakfast burritos. They have like good little medallion pancakes. They're starting to do like burgers and more like brunchy stuff now. But yeah, I just love the owners. Again, their little shop is right in that Frenchtown strip in there. And it's really modern. Got like a Western feel, but modernized. It's pretty cool.
What zip code do you live in?
I live 59846. It's my zip code. And I live out in 9 Mile. Yeah, so that canyon through there. Yeah, cool. So I love it. It's beautiful. Shout out to my realtor, Kim Lendman. She owns Exit in Stevensville. She's worked her butt off for me. She's been with me this entire way of, acquiring property and a school and all that. So, yeah.
Nicole, what to you is the weirdest part of Missoula?
The weirdest? Probably the roads. Do people say that? Yeah. Like,
often.
What is going on with Malfunction Junction? Like, what? I want to know the backstory behind that. Like, what happened there? So, yeah.
There is a backstory.
There is.
Now, somebody told me they're not calling it Malfunction Junction anymore.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Was this you? No. I think it's called South Street Junction.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Cool. Yeah.
So anyways, just so you guys know.
Okay.
It used to be growing up.
Sure.
There were stoplights on all the streets. So South Avenue went all the way through.
Wow.
Brooks all the way through and Russell all the way through.
Okay.
So there were 6 different stoplights.
Oh, wow.
But the stoplights, it wasn't just this street, then this street, because you could turn left off of all the streets. And so if you hit a red light, it was like a 15-minute.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was just total chaos.
Oh, yeah, no.
So some engineer thought that what we have now is better, an improvement, and perhaps it is, but it was wild.
Yeah, this little city is totally expanding since I've been coming through it since 2012, and I love it. It's good that it's expanding.
You're right. The streets are weird.
They are. Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do about it because I'm like, man, we're really getting busy.
I think if you just throw up a roundabout anywhere, that solves most of the traffic problems.
That'd be great.
Seems to be what they're going for.
Maybe pitch that to the board.
What do you love the most about Missoula?
The community. Yeah, the community. I love meeting all of the small business owners. I love that we have Downtown Tonight. I love that, I get to have a salon fair every year at my school, and most of the salons and a lot of just small business owners show up. And I wanted to do it and we made it happen. Missoula made it happen. My husband and I, even though we're from Washington, well, we've been there for the last decade. We were welcomed. We've always been welcomed by everybody who I've talked to. Our students have been phenomenal. We're still good friends with a lot of our students. So, that's what I love about Missoula is the community. Yeah.
And then Nicole, has there been any particular book that has made the most significant impact on your life?
Yes. I'm like, so it's called Leaders Eat Last. It's by Simon Sinek. Because, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So you know about it.
Great.
Yeah. It's a phenomenal book. I would hope any person that is interested in entrepreneurship or even building a team of some kind would read it. It's called Leaders Eat Last, and it'll really teach you how to be a good leader and how to accomplish your goals. Yeah.
Simon's the man.
He is.
We should have him on the pod.
You really should. Seriously. I would be stoked.
If he ever gets a second home here, or maybe like fifth home here.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So Nicole, you talked about, back into your story, you're working from the ground up in your mother-in-law's business and in the family business.
Mm-hmm.
At what point do you guys get ready to jump off and you're going to take the leap and walk us through that decision to start a school here in Missoula.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big one. Well, I'd been teaching, I think, for my mother-in-law for a little over 6 years. And, I had at that time, I was the head teacher of the aesthetics portion, which is all about skincare.
Sorry, can I hit pause right there? Just because you're talking to two guys that obviously aren't into beauty. When you say beauty school, what all is being taught there?
Great question. So we have 3 trades. So we teach cosmetology, which is hair. So hair cutting, coloring, hand-tied extensions, all that. And then we have manicuring, which is our nail technicians. So of course, gel, builder gel, Gel X, acrylic, things like that, anything to do with nails. And then our third program, well, I guess we have 4 programs, but our third program is aesthetics, which is all skin related. Eyelash extensions, professional peels, microdermabrasion, things like that. And then our last program is actually our instructors program. So we do have an instructors program. So, that's really fun for me to say, because that's another way that I've built my team is from within. I've pulled students from within for many years and trained them how to be instructors. So
awesome. Yeah. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So, carry on and how you ended up in Missoula.
Okay. So let's see, about 2021 was when we moved here, and we decided to move because I was really wanting to have a family, and I didn't feel that it was great that I was 8 hours away from my parents, and we were right next to Jay's, which I love them. Don't get me wrong, but I really wanted to be closer to my family. So we came and toured Missoula. My husband liked it, which is fun because he was raised in a big city, but he loved, the community and the feel of it too. And he thought, we did a lot of research on, could we have a school here? Is there a market for it? Turns out there was a huge market for it, actually. But, my husband and I, being just nervous, we thought that we'd only have 7 students our first year. We ended up having 49, which was nuts because it was just Jay and I. So crazy. Anyways, but so ultimately we chose to move here because I wanted to have a family, and I wanted them to know their grandparents, because I grew up with my grandparents in the same little town my whole life. I had both sets, my father's, mother and father, and then my mom's mother and father. And I loved them. I was with them almost every day. I was with my grandparents. So that's important to me, that my daughter knows her grandparents. So that's why we chose to move closer. And now I get to see my parents like once or twice a month, when before I would get to see them maybe once every 6 months. So, yeah.
What were the biggest challenges as you and Jay leaped off into Missoula to start your own business?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that my husband and I, we bite off a little more than we could chew sometimes, but we just make it work. So what we ended up doing is we bought 5 acres out in 9 Mile, and it only had power. So it didn't have water and nothing on it. Okay. So then we also decided to build a school at the same time, which is not ideal. I would not recommend you guys to do that. Okay. Just don't do that. Really stressful. But, I would say, the most challenging part is to, drill a well. How do you do that? That's stressful. Like, you move on a property and you don't have water. If you guys think about it, how much water do you ingest or use every single day? You don't really think about that until you don't have it. So just not having an ideal like home life, and then trying to build a business on top of that was extremely challenging our first year. Yeah.
Where is your school located?
So when we first started in 2021, it was located off of inside the North Reserve Business Center. Do you guys know where that's at?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we were in there. We rented out a couple condos and we started there off of Stockyard. And then we outgrew it in about a year, which was nuts because we signed a 3-year lease. So now our school is right off Reserve. It's So it's right off of American Way. If you guys know, there's a big gray building off American Way. There used to be a Mod Pizza right there. It's 3465 American Way. And it is the big bridal center. Used to be a huge bridal center. Jim Adair used to own that building.
Yeah.
So my husband and I, we it's so fun because like if you work hard, you can achieve anything. Like you can do anything. It's fun because when we first moved to Missoula in 2021, we were sitting at this little bagel shop. I think it was called Bagels on Broadway or something like that. Okay. Yeah. And we were eating our bagels and my husband looks over and he sees, this big, gorgeous gray building. And he's like, that's the one. That's the building. And I'm like, no, that building's massive. Absolutely not. And he was like, yeah, we're going to do that. So now we're in it and we're just blessed because it's everything that we needed. You walk in it and it just looks like a beauty school. Have you guys ever been into that building before? Have you ever been into Jim Adair, jewelry?
Yeah.
Yeah. He used to be a jeweler there, which shout out to Jim. I don't know if he listens to this, but thank you to Jim and his wife, Brandy. They really helped us, acquire that building and get into it and helped us to just make it through our first year. So yeah, it was going from a 3,000 square foot space to a roughly 20,000 square foot space.
Is it just you guys in that building? You guys occupy the whole
we
thing?
Actually have one renter. Okay. So their business is jewelry and their name is L&M Jewelry. Okay. And they're awesome family owned business. The business is owned by Landy and Michael. That's L&M Jewelry. And then they also run it with their son, Carson, which he just had his first baby. So yeah, really great to have another family-owned business renting from us. Yep. So that's pretty cool. So yeah.
You're giving some shout outs. I'll give a shout out to them.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't listen to this show, but that is where I bought her engagement ring.
Oh, L&M?
Yeah, there you go.
That's exciting. Shout out to them.
Wild.
My wife will never know.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I'm just kidding.
Worry. Maybe she'll listen.
That was
Who
a
knows?
joke.
Oh.
Okay, so you
shout out Kaylee if you're listening.
Yeah.
Hey there.
So now walk me through as we kind of close down the episode. How are you guys finding students? Like what does advertising look like? What is like a day-to-day, what is like the school year look like for these students? Kind of take me through the day-to-day process of all of that for you as an entrepreneur.
So I'll answer your first question. How are we finding students? So this is a great story, if that's okay. I actually met my very first student in Spokane, Washington. So I was head teaching there. Her name is Mel. Shout out to Mel Diemo. She has her own business now. Her business is called Balanced. It's downtown, right next to the Indy building. She does lashes full time, but I met her in Spokane, Washington. She came as a client to our school there and I met her and she was having some skin issues and I helped to treat her skin in a little under 2 weeks or something. So she reached out to me and she was like, hey, I've been struggling with my skin my whole life. How, and I told her that I wanted to build a school in Missoula. And she was like, how do I enroll in your school? Wow. So shout out to Mel. She gave us our start. So yeah, pretty incredible. But how we've advertised is social media. Yeah. My husband and I have been growing our social media with the help of Natalie Tavera, which you guys have interviewed Jackson Mackay. I think that's his last name. He owns Liquid Base Productions. So it's so fun. She was our second student, Natalie. And at that time, we were in I call it our garage school, which is the school off Stockyard. That was our first location. And it's so funny because when Jackson and Natalie came in, I could just see it all over their faces. They were like, what are you guys doing? There was one table and it was like a garage, So I could see how skeptical she was. But since I had Mel in my school, she was like, okay, someone else signed with her. I'm going to sign too. So now both Mel and Natalie work for me. They've been with me ever since, which is really cool. Natalie, she's my social media director. And then Mel, she teaches eyelash extensions, which is really difficult to do. So yeah. So to answer your question, social media and then word of mouth, all word of mouth.
That's amazing.
So that's what I also try and teach our students too, is that marketing can be free if you know what you're doing. So we also help the students to understand social media. It's huge.
Yeah. No kidding. Especially, as they're trying to build their businesses.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
My last question for you is, I love the episodes. Stephen loves the episodes with entrepreneurs and just hearing stories of facing adversity and overcoming and getting up and going back to work and just, try again.
Yeah.
And you sprinkled in a couple stories of, some words of wisdom. Don't buy vacant land with no water and start a school at the same time.
Don't do that.
And relocate to a new city, not knowing anyone, trying to start a business, like all that.
Sure.
But as you look back over what you and your husband have done, what is one piece of advice you would give to a young entrepreneur who, you look back at that 6-year-old on the ranch who wanted to be an entrepreneur one day? What would you say to her?
I know this is so cliche, but never give up. Just don't give up. If you have a dream and you're willing to work hard, you can achieve whatever you want to, whatever you've set your mind to. Don't stop working. You have to work endlessly, tirelessly, sometimes all night, sometimes, you don't. I mean, my husband and I didn't take a day off for 4 years. We're just now having a baby and we just took like a couple weeks off with her. You know what I mean? But that was our first time where we took time off. But I would say not only don't give up, but follow your passion. You have a passion, and if you're supposed to lead a team, then do it. If you have a passion, do it. Even if it's like, I don't know, painting rocks, whatever. Like if you have a passion, you can make a living from your passion. And if you have a passion in what you're doing, then it won't feel like you're working.
It's a great place to end it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Nicole, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Looking forward to seeing your awesome new school.
Thank you. Yeah.
And keep up the good work.
Yeah. Thank you so much.